all my fight fans? So I was recently watching one of the podcasts weighing in with Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy, and in there, Josh had mentioned that he does and has trained with Cain Velasquez and his of course they both come from AKA and they've been in each other's camps and whatnot, and they have a long history with each other and such. So, and he has seen Cain Velasquez, doing some really good training. He asked the question, which makes me want to ask you guys a question as well. How do we think Cain Velasquez, or do we think Cain Velasquez would make a return? That's actually very interesting. Very interesting. We all remember Cain Velasquez back in the day. We remember Cain Velasquez actually, having such man, it's almost hard to put it into words. He was just such a beast in his prime. And he was such a beast in his heyday when he was just not hurt, because we know Cain Velasquez was plagued with a lot of injuries throughout his time in UFC. But when he was healthy, when he was in his prime, he was just a monster. To me personally, the greatest heavyweight of all time. Greatest heavyweight of all time. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, there's other heavyweights out there. Fedor, Verdum, Stipe, etc., etc. But now, making a possible return at the age, I believe he's 41, possibly going to be 42. Could be off a little bit. But if he were to make a return, it would be a little bit interesting and tricky. One, we got to see what kind of Cain are we going to get. Because Cain, again, he's been out of the game for quite some time. I want to say since, what was it, 2018? Maybe around that time frame, when his last fight was against Francis Ngannou, and he got knocked out in the first minute, I want to say. But his last real fight, I think it was against Travis Brown at UFC 200, maybe in 2016. I knew he was scheduled for a few fights with Fabricio and possibly others, but due to, once again, like I said, his bad back and injuries that he has suffered, it kept him out of the game for a while. So now we got to see what kind of Cain Velasquez are we going to get if he returns. Now, if we get that prime Cain, that monster Cain, that cardio Cain, that Cain would just look untouchable, that Cain that we got for that Junior Dos Santos fight, in the second fight, in the third fight, it's going to be a long night for these guys in the heavyweight division. I mean, of course, you got Pavlich, who is just a monster when it comes to hitting. Just our new Francis Ngannou, I guess you could say. Curtis Blades, who is a great wrestler, but it would be interesting to see those two lock up, because we know Cain Velasquez is a great wrestler himself. You got Derek Lewis, who is just a power puncher himself. So, again, be very interesting to see how that goes. So, you got a lot of great interesting matchups, but I'm pretty sure the matchup that we all want to see would be the GOAT versus the GOAT. We would like to see John Jones and Cain Velasquez, which to me would have been by far one of the biggest fights to ever be made if John Jones made a heavyweight. He contested at heavyweight in his earlier days. I would definitely have loved to see that fight. Prime John Jones versus prime Cain Velasquez at heavyweight. Oh my God. Jeez, take all the money that I have. You can take my house, you can take my cars, you can take whatever you want. I would pay anything to see that fight in their prime. Good God. But, like I said, we just got to see what kind of Cain we're getting. But it's fun to see, and it's fun to talk about, and it's fun to think about, because we always think about these things. We think about Anderson Silva, we think about George St. Pierre. We hear a lot about George St. Pierre as well. So, yeah, let's just talk about that, guys. Let me ask you guys that question. How do you think Cain would do in the heavyweight division now? How do you think Cain would look if he came back now? Let me know, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.